Okay, hi crypto family. Crypto poll. Will all this quantitative easing and money printing in the US have a positive effect on crypto in the coming year? What do you think? So the options it gives us: a massively positive effect on crypto, none or hardly any effect at all, will have a negative effect on crypto. Bill, what's your take on QE and crypto?
Well, QE is like donuts or Doritos. You can't eat just one. Okay. You just can't. Right. So once they start the QE, they can't stop the QE. They can't. Right. Especially since they've come out and just come out guns blazing. So I have to think, given the survey questions, that I would go massively, massively positive or massive impact on crypto. Right? Because either one of two things is going to happen, right? I mean, if they're going to print money and the world burns and crypto doesn't go up, well, it's going to be a short show. Okay. or everyone's got to get their NASA astronaut suit on and, we ride the Robin Hood wave to the moon. So, yeah, I mean, I just think that this is our time. It's just a question of maintaining a clear head.
Yeah. Okay. So I do have very interesting take on this. First of all, everyone knows I'm pro crypto. I mean, crypto to the moon and beyond. However, I have been telling myself, you know what? What if crypto and the entire premise of QE is wrong? Because I think one of the downsides of being in crypto, we're all in the same echo chamber, and we all kind of drink our own Kool Aid in a way. So I said, okay, I've read all the books that tell us QE is bad. All the economics books, all the Peter Schiff books about gold and the Fed. I mean, all the crypto books as well. I said, you know what? It won't really make sense if I only read books that are pro crypto or or books that are anti QE. Let me find some books that go through the entire logic for the other side, and then I'll be able to kind of make a better analysis. So I did just that. One book I did have on my to read list that finally came out this month is called The Deficit Myth: Modern Monetary Theory and the Birth of the People's Economy. This is by Stephanie Kelton. So she was actually the economic advisor to Bernie Sanders. So that is pretty, I guess, interesting. And you know what? This book, I highly recommend this book. I feel like anybody out there, if you're in crypto, you should definitely read this book. This will, at least for me, it's changed my entire understanding of MMT and my entire understanding of also the economy. Now, kind of basically, long story short, what this book goes through, it basically says that any government or any central bank that issues its own currency can never go broke. So basically, kind of like they can print money to infinity and beyond almost, but not quite, right? What the book claims is they can print money without really any limits as long as they can maintain a particular level of inflation. So if inflation is not high, basically if we aren't going through hyperinflation, then we can always print more money. And I think the best way to kind of understand this is that most people view the economy as a way for people to really balance their budget or their books, right? So in the same way how a household balances its books or budget, but that's wrong. That's completely wrong, right? The government does not have to balance its books in the same manner like a household. The government is the issuer of its own currency. So meaning that the government can never go broke because they can always print more money. Then they go through the examples as to why different governments like Venezuela and Greece have had hyperinflation. And they say that happens because those countries do not have the ability to print more money. Right? So those currencies, those governments peg their currencies to something else that they had no control of. So they couldn't really use it to control the economy. Very, very interesting book. I mean, I think this could be one of the best books I've read this year. And that's saying a lot since I read about 2 or 4 books a month. Now I'm still pro crypto, but I think we can't just drink the Kool-Aid without really questioning everything, right? So I think what this book has done to me from going through the book this month is now I'm basically going through crypto and saying, okay, what if everything is wrong? What will happen to crypto? And I still think, okay, what if we live in a world where the US dollar can keep on printing money without really going through hyperinflation or collapsing? In that world, what does crypto look like? What does Bitcoin look like? How does Bitcoin still win in a world like that? And I think having that perspective can also give you a better edge when it comes to investing, right? Because how many times have people, first of all, I like Peter Schiff, right? But we all know he's been saying the Dow is going to collapse for the last 20 years, right? What if he keeps on saying that and 20 years later, the Dow still has not collapsed, right? So, because sometimes you can be right, but it can take a long time to be right. So I think this book definitely gave me a healthy perspective. I'm still pro crypto, but I mean, I can now definitely understand the perspective of MMT. And now I'm trying to kind of see how all this kind of ties into different ways for crypto to win. Bill, any comments on that? Do I sound crazy?
No, actually, my copy of the book arrived yesterday.
Oh, awesome. Nice.
Okay. So here's how I would break it down. You are absolutely right. The Fed can print all the money in the world and buy every security it wants to, right? Everybody was shocked when the Fed's balance sheet went from, 1 trillion to 4 trillion. All these guys were writing, oh my God. And the MMT guys are right. If the Fed wants to take it up to 20 billion, they're going to take it up to 20 billion. Okay. But there's just one catch. Okay. Is that it may or may not impact the value of the dollar, but it may impact the treasury bond market's integrity. Okay. So yes, you can print a bunch of money and not have Venezuela occur. Mm-hmm. However, you can have other disturbances in capital markets. Now, that might give you a headache, so don't worry. How about this? So one of the reasons why I think Bernie's people are so into MMT is because they didn't want the Fed to print money to buy junk bonds, because who does that help?
Nobody.
They wanted the Fed to print money, and instead of giving every household $1,200, they wanted to give every household $12,000, right? Which people could use to pay down credit cards, which is, or buy assets like cars so they could drive to a job, right? So I think that that's what they were thinking. Now, how does that benefit crypto? Well, again, we've already seen the Robin Hood phenomenon, right? Mm-hmm. You give somebody an unemployment check that's 40% higher than the job that they were at. And the next thing you know, they're getting levered up on Robin Hood chasing Hertz. Okay. So it's the old thing, follow the money. Where does the money go? I read an article, I read a tweet that said, hey, the Fed's buying every asset on the planet. Why not buy crypto? Right? In other words, right. Printing money, it's not, you don't turn a handle and like paper sheets come out. It's digital, right? The Fed prints money and then goes into a market and buys assets.
Right.
Well, some of that money may wind up in crypto. And what stops the Fed from adding crypto to its portfolio? So I get it. We could wake up one day, so let's turn back to your point. I get it. We could wake up one day and go, what do we need this for? I got some guy giving me a free stack of hundreds. I don't need this. I got dollars. I can get a car. I can go to Target and Walmart and party on. So I understand that, but there's something in economics called unintended consequences. Mm-hmm. Now, they don't have to be bad. This is my final point. So, the traditional old guy, oh God, this is bad. It doesn't have to be. Legacy might hold up, but people might go, oh, wow, look at this crypto stuff. I mean, can you imagine what happens if Bitcoin makes a new high through 13,000? What are the Robinhood guys going to do? What are the hedge funds going to do? Everyone's going to have to chase it. So
Right.
yes, I understand we could wake up one day and nobody could care about crypto, but the money's got to go somewhere.
Right. Right.
It's
Now,
got to go somewhere.
yeah. So to kind of add on to that, so I think going through that book, I mean, we could live in a world down the road where America becomes like Japan and just keeps on issuing and printing more money. Because in the book, the example they gave were traders who try to short Japan, thinking Japan would not be able to print more money, and those traders have gotten wrecked trying to short the yen. Now, that being said, I still do think there is a need for crypto, but I think the entire space as a whole might have to reassess the need for crypto in developing countries where countries can issue their own currency. I think where crypto is very strong, and it's already proven that, is in the developing world where countries like in Argentina and Greece, where they've gone through issues like that, where they couldn't issue their own currency, where the currency was pegged to something else and it was fixed. So I think that's where Bitcoin and crypto is greatly needed. So I do and possibly see a world where crypto is basically almost like the new currency in those parts of the world. But in terms of the developing world, I think we definitely have to be open-minded to a possibly different reality in a way. All right. I know I may have kind of questioned people's realities with that. I definitely recommend the book. I'm actually pretty glad to see book. To hear Bill also has the book coming, right? So definitely curious to see your thoughts after you've had a chance to go through the book. But hey, what do you think? Do you think MMT in the US is positive for crypto? Do you think it's negative for crypto? Are you unsure? Let us know what you think down in the comments below.